As you guys can see, we're in the middle of nowhere, and that's kind of what we were looking to find when we were looking for properties. Anna and I had recently purchased this in January. I think it was the day before her birthday, so I'm really good at gifts. We bought the coffee shop on Valentine's Day, this on her birthday. I actually suck at gifts, and she gives me a lot of crap for that. I usually forget that those are specific days. But anyways, we're just gonna give you guys a quick walkthrough as far as like what this property is, what we want to do with it. We were looking to get a cabin on the lake, more so just for family vacations, but also like an investment opportunity, looking to rent it out. And when we were doing that, the last probably year or so, if you see me kind of moving and fidgeting, it's because there's a lot of mosquitoes out here right now. The last year or two, we're constantly looking for a specific property, but finding that lakefront property is extremely difficult, especially for a reasonable price and something that we were looking to pay. You can find good pieces of property, except you're gonna be paying quite a bit of money. So we wanted something affordable, but we also wanted something that we could add value to. So we stumbled upon this. This whole piece is 7.5 acres. This is the far end of the property, the backside. If you look this way, you'll see the lane. And we're gonna do this quickly because it's gonna start storming pretty bad here. We'll take you to the front house after. The reason we bought the property was for this specific aspect of it. One, the cabin's in the back of the property and there's nothing around it. So what we want to do with it is create a vacation rental for friends and family, but also eventually kind of an Airbnb style, but we don't think we're going to go through Airbnb because we have the knowledge to build our own website and brand. We're going to try to do it that route instead of going through Airbnb and dealing with all the fees and whatnot. I guess as a quick rundown, this is the cabin, that's the bunkhouse. We'll probably go into the bunkhouse first, but as you can see, there's a lot of trees and stuff that we cut down. We're gonna end up building this whole aspect here into an entertainment space. So patio would be all through here and here, grill, hot tub, sauna, all the amenities that you want when you go to a sauna, but also things that we enjoy. So when we come up here on the weekends, we can still have those things. So this is just a little storage shed. Our plan is to re-side and rough both the house and the bunkhouse. The bunkhouse, just a little shack, but we do have to insulate it. It's got electrical in it, new windows. The roof's got to get done, but it's just a neat little space, I guess, for extra guests, whether it's the kids to hang out or, I mean, beds are probably a little bit small. We might look at changing those up because we do want it, one, to be tailored towards kids, but also we want to be able to have, if you come up here with your family or a group of buddies or whatever it may be, we want beds that comfortably fit people. Just looking at Airbnb, like a lot of the reviews are comfy bed, nice pillows, things like that. It's when you go somewhere, you want to be comfortable. So we don't want people crammed in a little bed, or the review thing is huge. And plus, when we go somewhere, those are the things we look for. So it's something that we want to have here when it's our time, but also for other people to enjoy. This concept today too is to show you guys bare bones what everything looks like, because we're going to break this down into a series of all the renovations and show you guys how to go through from buying a property into creating it into something that cash flows, but also gives you a long-term asset to hold. I guess as far as hitting on trying to also find that property, something that was huge to us was, one, being secluded. So when you are renting it out, there isn't a neighbor and family screaming or whatever it may be. People like to be secluded, and not have, you know, privacy. Privacy is huge. And the other concept that we were looking for was, can we add more to this? So besides just having this cabin, we also have the front house. We thought maybe doing a long-term rental for that, but the more we're thinking about it, once you see that one, that has a lot more renovations to get done, especially on the exterior. But as far as the bones of the building go, it's solid. So that's probably a good quarter mile away, I would say, from back here. So at the same time, you could have it as 2 different rentals, or you can come as a family and 15 or 20 of you can still stay here on the property. And then this will be the main entertainment focus, but when we get up there, there's plans to do that too, because if you do have it as an individual rental, you still want the amenities up there. So the expensive part is the renovations on both of them to do all the amenities in case it is separate, but that's the plan. That's what we're gonna do. Another thing we looked for was, can we add more? Can we get another cabin, another 2 cabins? And when we go back down the lane, I'll show you where I think number 3 is gonna go, and potentially being able to get a 4th overlooking the pond. What you guys can't really see, and we'll go on the deck and maybe try to look at that quick, but there's a pond on the property, and it's kind of, we had a big tree branch come down here and take out the deck, which is kind of nice because I'm going to redo this deck anyway. So now I have an excuse, right? But anyways, the pond is kind of dredged in. This little ravine, there's another pond up on the hill. And I think over the years, and just being, as you can tell, we're probably 50 feet higher than where that pond is. All that silt and stuff running in and filling that pond in. That's a long-term play on the bucket list, is get that all cleaned up and redo that. But the deck wraps all the way around, super nice. We'll probably end up doing that hot tub sauna space over here, just so it's a little bit secluded and you a little bit more privacy, and kids go to bed, mom and dad can hang out back there. So I mean, as you can tell, it's not the cleanest property, but that's gonna play into our benefit. And I'll kind of run through some financial things that why that's gonna work, but maybe not this moment. So we want to be able to find something we can add value to. And one of the ways to add value is cleaning the property up, whether it's the land management or to the exterior, interior remodels. This interior, we like that it's unique. There's not a ton that we have to do in here. They were getting it set up to rent it out before the grandpa had passed away, from our understanding. So, I mean, the quality of things in here, it's pretty solid. I mean, as you can tell, it's pretty dim lit. We'll probably add some lighting, ceiling fan, as they used to have a wood burner here, and they didn't take that stack out. So we'll probably put a fan of some sort in here just for airflow. Eliminating that little furnace there, putting a split unit in, something that you can easily control as far as cooling and heating. This, we'll probably keep the pellet stove. It's just kind of, it's a vibe in the fall and the winter time. Kitchen, I think Anna wants to kind of keep the floors, just wants to do this more like farm style kitchen, kind of tied into the cabin up north vibe. We're thinking about taking this window out and putting a patio door in, moving the TV over to there, and potentially framing that window in completely. And then that way, summertime, you know, if you're out hanging on the patio or back here cooking, whatever it is, you can go right through and kind of open it up. It'll feel much bigger. Open the space, get a breeze, whatever it is. Bathroom needs some remodel work. I'd say inside, this is kind of like a little, if I was a kid, you got to peek in here. I would be hiding in here, like a little hiding. It goes all the way. It goes back to the front door. This is probably the extensive part of the remodel here. They used wood as a backsplash or back surround, tub surround. I'm gonna rip all that out because there's some moisture issues on the backside, and I'm thinking I'm probably gonna do all hand carved concrete, so it looks like stone. Just because I want to test that out, and if it goes well, then we can continue to do those things. As far as uniqueness goes, definitely the lofted concept in the bedroom. I mean, this is just a sweet little ladder here. Or, well, what I was thinking about these steps is probably potentially framing this in and doing some sort of day bed and a little bookshelf on this side, just so if you do have a 2 or 3 year old or whatever, they can still they can be in the cabin with mom and dad. And then obviously we'll add more seating and probably some sort of pull-out couch to get a couple more beds in here. The loft is a vibe. But anyways, this is the main suite, I guess. Kind of neat is just these little storage cabinets along each side, which will be nice when we need to just get little totes or extra linen and stuff, as far as when we do get different guests, and being able to turn over and have a dirty bucket or whatever they can throw their stuff in, and then we can throw the new stuff on. Skylights, super neat. And really just thinking about it too, is these two kind of perfectly go right where you're laying, so you can kind of stargaze. Beautiful. Yeah, this, like the woodwork, everything is just very, very unique and in good shape. So I'm not too worried about the remodel aspect in here. A little bit of paint, clean up, let on do some touch-ups as far as the decor and whatnot. Then on this side, just let Jack shoot that, but just a little reading nook. I'm not really sure what we're going to do with that space. We were thinking about putting a gate on 1 or 2 of these that you can swing open, and then taking, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but like a tight netting, and they put it in there, and then you have like just some oversized pillows and stuff for kids to hang out in. One thing that we did right away too was getting rid of the regular locks, and then went right to the keypad. So it's a keypad with a deadbolt. We can change the lock or like the code whenever we need to from our phone. So as a new guest gets here, you can change it. Really inexpensive way to do it, and then we're not worried about having a key with us whenever we're, if we're running over this way, like today, like if I I forgot the key or whatever, just go right to the keypad. I think that's really it back here. We'll take you guys to the front and let you see the horror house we got up there. As far as like the financial side of stuff like this, so if it was just for us and we weren't looking to really generate any revenue off of it or any income, I personally would not have been okay buying it. We are only 28, 29 years old. This is kind of something that you usually wait a handful of years looking for, more so that second property of retirement or whatever it is. But our whole concept, one, is to have the family and us to come up here and enjoy it, but we're using it as another business opportunity. And looking at the Airbnb rates, rental rates around here, we 100% think that we'll be able to have a positive cash flow from renting all of this out when it's done, when it's all ready. Right here to the right, me and one of my other buddies, Matt, have been kind of clearing out one to put the cabin right there, but then also eventually to get this cut out a little bit better, and then you'll have parking. So that's kind of what we're thinking for our third cabin. More so right there too, because then we can tie into the existing septic here. We do have The biggest problem on the property was the cabin back there. The septic was collapsed. We did get, as far as that, when we purchased it, $15,000 in set aside for that from the sellers. Now this has got some renovating to do. I think we're gonna wipe this garage out. They had a big tree fall on it. The whole thing's basically rotted out. The roof's gone. All the beams inside are garbage. The only good thing about it is that garage door. So I think we'll probably end up taking that down. We'll put a privacy fence up, and then we'll turn that into a patio entertainment space. And then as far as the main house goes, one of my buddies works for a company, Overhead Solutions. Shout out to Ben. If you guys are looking for any exterior remodels or any roofing, that's the way to go. I got a extremely affordable quote from those guys to redo the house, all the soffit, fascia, siding for the front house and the back house, including the roof in the back to the cabin. Outside, as you can tell, very, very rough. The worst part about the house over here is how they kind of half-assed tore this chimney down, and then the way this is all built. We're probably going to end up raising that door up, and once we kind of peek in there, we'll have to raise the floor up. Look out for raccoons. Do a little safety check. I'm being serious, like a little safety check. This back door, you can just tell, is beat. This floor is shot. They tried to do a little something here, but this is also another major aspect of the remodel. Wipe that door out, turn this into more of a 3 seasons room. Be able to level this floor. We got to take this door out, raise the door up, new doors, new windows. Not all the windows, but these 3 windows. And then in here, not a ton of remodel, but enough. As far as structure and bones, everything's pretty solid. Washer, dryer, something going here. We were thinking maybe to route that through into the other side there, that other room, and more have that like a, maybe not just doing the 3 seasons, but also like a mudroom style thing. We're gonna go for ceiling cricket. We're gonna go for the old farmhouse vibe in here. Country kitchen type. Repaint everything, clean the floors up, figure out a way to make the space a little bit more welcoming. I'm thinking about potentially knocking this out, or knocking this and widening that, and then doing more of like what would be like a bench style bar stool seating. This is a living room. I don't even know where there we go. Living room, decent size. Again, structurally, like pretty solid. When we bought the property, I just saw the outside. It didn't even come in here because I was like, there's no way we're gonna rip it down. But honestly, I was very surprised when I came in. I was like, you know what? Like, we can do something with this. So, front entry, not really sure, where we were thinking maybe office space or doing another bedroom.
I thought it was a bedroom.
Not, and then, you know, we could get rid of that door too. So then frame that door out. And then it would be just a little bedroom off of here. Kind of a little master bedroom bath type thing, but it just sucks that if you were to do that, then your bathroom is, you're on your main level is kind of taken up. Bathroom, once again, like really not that bad. Anna and I have gone through some extensive remodel projects in the past. So looking at this, it's like we'll be fine. We'll make it work. New floor for sure. Floor is kind of just some little stick down tiles. That's garbage. But like the windows, relatively new, which is super nice on pretty much the whole house down here. I think there's only one old window, and it's that one. So we've been getting, people have been giving us old mattresses and things like that. We're kind of just keeping them here for temporary being. We're looking, we did find on Amazon some pretty affordable options for really nice mattresses. And then the upstairs. When I say I'm cautiously walking around, I mean I'm cautiously walking around. I haven't been in here in probably 2 months. So it's kind of nice to come up here, make sure nobody's in here. Look at that, don't even have to change the fan. Definitely gonna change the fan. But it's nice to come in after all the ceiling cricket, after all the rain we got, because like as you can tell, there's no water damage. This is new drywall. They ended up redoing the roof in 2023. So another huge selling point, I guess, is not having to worry about a roof. You're looking at a roof anywhere from 10 to 20 grand if you gotta resheet it. Windows here, besides a terrible caulk job, this window is actually a little newer. Holy balls. They caulked the hell out of that thing. I always find new things, which is kind of exciting, you know? This will be a bedroom, probably we're thinking about trying to do maybe bunk style. So there's either, maybe even 4 bunk beds in here. You got 8 beds, more so for the kids and whatnot to do. And then probably turn this into just a single because it is a little bit smaller. Some wild things you'll see is like, 1, who would have thought, look at that light. And 2, who puts a panel in the middle of the wall upstairs? So there's some crazy things, but as Jack said, this will be fun. This will probably just be, single bed. If we can get a king in there reasonably on size, we'll do it. I think it might be a little bit too small for that, but anytime you can offer the king size bed, it seems to be the way to go. And then here, another little bathroom. Drywall and stuff was all recently done. A little bit of patch to do. Kind of a interesting style shower, but it actually really works good for the space that it's in. So I think we'll probably just leave that how it is. Biggest thing of doing a remodel and still trying to add value, it's clearly you can see there is a lot of work that has to get done, but we've done this in the past, and looking at it to us, it's okay, we got to do a little bit of paint, a little bit of drywall work, change all the light fixtures, and then after that, it's you just kind of make it homey. Add your tables, nice seating, whatever it is. I mean, the kitchens in the bathrooms are huge when it comes to remodel. So whatever you can do in the kitchen and bathroom, especially when it's outdated, if you can update all that, it's a really quick way to add value to the property. And I'll hit on that a little bit more when we start driving, because there's a lot of stuff I want to get through on the property yet, and then we'll kind of do a wrap up as far as what really the numbers look like, what besides rental and trying to profit that way, why this is also another good investment for us. So back to remodel. It does have old asbestos siding on it, so we have to, as homeowners, take that off there. Otherwise, you have to have asbestos abatement team take it off, and that is extremely costly. So we'll take that off and then potentially put 1/2-inch foam around the whole thing, house wrap, or 1/2-inch, whatever we decide to do. And then they'll come and side everything, wrap all the windows and all the fascia, whatever they got to do. This garage, like I said, is going to be wiped out. It's garbage. It's just rotted out. This is another little, I think we'll probably as like rough as this thing looks, you know, can't even get the doors open. I think we're gonna do like a summer kitchen style thing, like open it up so like when it is raining, you still have somewhere where you can kind of be outdoors. And my thought is to do kind of like when I was in Italy, they had a lot of these old little barns like this on a lot of properties. And I think if we can kind of get that vibe, it'll be super unique and fun. It's gonna just start raining, so. Something that we found after we bought it is probably making a stairway down here, because there used to be one. But this is where we want to do another little entertainment space, because like there's a whole basement underneath here, so it's like we might as well make something out of it. Like I said, cautious, knock knock. Very very wild concept down here, but I think we're gonna do some sort of like bar hangout, watch the game, put a big TV in here. This needs a lot of work too. We're gonna start in the back and work our way to the front, and then we want to cut all this stuff down. Well, look, we had another tree come down. This one wasn't down last time we were up here. So then all this patio space, cut all this down, and then that'll give you access to the pond. And it's super neat being this high up over the whole thing. And it's just one of those things. With time, we'll slowly chip away and create a really nice getaway. And that's been the plan from day one. And we've slowly chipped away, and we have a lot more to do. And we have a lot of other things that are going to get added to our plate pretty quick here. So trying to, when you can. So I did residential framing, roofing for 2 or 3 years. And yeah, could I side it and do all that? Yeah. But how many hours is that going to take me? So what I like to do, if I can, is, especially running the concrete business, is can we squeeze in a couple more jobs to make those hours where I'm making more working than I would be if I was putting the time into doing all this by myself. It's time or money, one or the other. And to me, I think we can make a better return by going to work and then paying somebody else to do some of this stuff. And it'll get done way faster and probably a lot better quality for some of this stuff, because I'm not the best at all that. Something to think about too, as far as like the financial side of things go, is if you can find a property that's in distress, like that one, is if you're not solely focused on creating the space as a business opportunity or a long-term play for whether it's a retreat for your family, whatever it is, that property is probably another example of getting that. It has distress, but there's a lot of things you can do to add value to it. So one thing, there are two plays out of that I look at besides the rental stuff, is I could end up buying a property like that, doing the renovations, fixing it all up. So now when I go to get it appraised, and I'm going to try some simple numbers so it makes sense to me, but hopefully you guys too, is if I can put 50 grand into it and it adds 100,000 on the appraisal, that's a quick way of making $50,000, having that equity. So you could buy something like that, say 200, you put, now my numbers are going to change, but you put 100 into it, so 300,000 is your value in that, but now it appraises at 400. Well, you just added $100,000 if you can sell it, which a lot of people do that. They fix and flip things like that, but usually it's single family homes. Potentially you're getting into larger commercial things, because that is a big project to do. Like if this was our first renovation project, there's probably no way in hell that I would have even looked at something like that. Another thing you can do, a quick way to add value to properties, are by subdividing them. So that's got 2 homes on one property and a driveway that splits it right down the center. So, and I already called about this. I called the county and they said, yeah, like it looks, you need at least an acre to do that. Well, just the left-hand side of that driveway from the house back is 0.99. So if need be, we could separate those properties into 2 parcels, and then, especially after doing the renovations, get each one reappraised separately. So now we have 2 homes, all with septic, water, heat, air, all updated. I would imagine just looking at the home values around here, and you guys could probably attest to this, when's the last time you found a decent quality home under $200,000? So just looking at that avenue, now you have two homes that are roughly $180,000 to $200,000 and maybe $50,000. A quick way to also add more value. There's multiple different plays to do with this stuff. I guess another option that I would consider is when we get all that fixed up and the appraisal comes back, and the appraisals, we'll say $100,000 more than what it was when we bought it, there's a good option to potentially look at doing a refi on it and taking some of that equity out. Generally, they'll let you take 80% of whatever equity you have in it. You got your blinker on? Okay. So if you can take 80%, besides the equity that we have in it already we did a pretty significant down payment on it too, you could take that money, borrow it at 6.5%, and go do the same thing to another property, or use it towards a different business. And some people will take it and put it into the market. That's quite a risky game to do that. But if you can take that money and put it into another property and do something similar, especially the bank loves when you do that and you can show proof of the property or the business cash flowing. If you can show that you're at a net $2,000 every month, they're much more lenient on letting you borrow a set amount of money. Most people generally can qualify to pull 80% on a HELOC on their home without having a business plan or whatever that money's going to go. A lot of times people will put it into their own home. You know, if you took $20,000 out and then they'll use it to renovate the kitchen. But that's adding back to your mortgage. You got to pay that money back. So if I were to do something like that, I would take that money and go buy an asset, whether it's more property or a business, to generate more than what that interest is costing me. If it costs 6.5%, I would like to find something that pays me back 10 to 15%. All right, so we took you guys to the property. You got to kind of see what we're working with. Got a little background on the financial side of it, the way we're looking at it, and potentially some other options for you guys if you want to do something similar. There's always a way. There's always an option. There's a way to, one, either own it long term, or two, to capitalize on it, make a little bit of money to maybe buy the one that you want to stay in long term, or put towards some other aspect or another business. So we kind of captured all that for you guys, and what we wanted to really do was just show you basically from step one of what that looks like. There's a lot that has to be done there, and in past projects, we always said, I wish we would have recorded that. I wish we would have had more pictures and footage of that. And now that's what we're trying to offer you guys. Is we've done it before. We've done it on a couple different spots now. Now we want you to be able to see kind of what it looks like for us to look at a property and say, hey, we can do something with this. We can turn it into something much bigger, much more valuable than what it is right now. So that'll be in and out throughout the summer, and probably a lot more this winter. As you guys can tell, like, it's peak concrete season. There's a lot of that content going out because that's what we're doing day in and day out. Occasionally we'll be able to get there on the weekends, but that's a conflicting thing of scheduling between me and Jack too, where sometimes I'm just going to run out there for 2 hours and do something. So we'll continue to get updates on that, build a little playlist for you, and then you can watch as that progresses. And you'll have to continue to watch and stay tuned for the next venture, because I think we're going to put another item on the plate and try to see what we can do to manage not only 3 businesses, but maybe a 4th. So subscribe, like the video, share the video if you are getting value out of these or you enjoy what we're doing. And we're always open to feedback. So please feel free to comment and keep sharing and tagging people that might be interested.